Alright. Okay, this is Dnaught's story. This is chapter 2. I think I peed a little. Fucking epic name. Okay. I wasn't dead. That was a win. My ribs felt like they'd been used as a xylophone by a jackhammer. In the back of my head was making a solid argument for a long nap. But hey, consciousness. Woohoo! I rolled over on the pavement, groaning like the rickety chair my grandpa swears by, and squinted through the war zone. Screams and the faint, telltale sound of my dignity trying to crawl away without me. Big Red was back on his feet, red cracks on his chest glowing like his ego got physically manifested. He pointed a finger at me, expression saying, "I'm gonna yeet you into orbit." "You know it, Hawk. What's up? Ninja, how are you, good sir? Welcome today." "I don't know. I'm retarded, Ninja. I'm sorry." "I don't know." Another thing that I'm glad is that you had a problem with me including biblical characters. Oh, no problem with me including biblical characters in my origin lore because Christianity is a currently active religion. True, Dnaught! So I admit I do feel fear when putting my lore out there. It's understandable. People are pretty bad when it comes to religion. They're like, "You're not allowed." Fucking Karens. Shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down, bitch. No one gives a fuck what you think. That's what I think. If you're gonna be, if you don't have a solid reason, like for instance, if you take a character like Noah, and you kind of disgrace him in a way, like kind of being like, oh, it wasn't actually Noah who built Noah's Ark. It was actually this other guy, and then Noah, why can I not think of the name? All I can think of is Epstein. Why the fuck can I not think of the name? Guy invented light bulbs, but Thomas Edison. He, like, Edisoned the guy. And was like, it was actually this guy who built the Ark, and then Noah killed him, and then said, no, it was me. You know, so it's like, doing something like that, I could see somebody being like, are you sure about that? Right? Like, you're rewriting biblical history at that point. That's something I could say, yeah, I could see somebody having a little bit of a problem with it. But write what you want. If you want to adapt Christianity, go for it. One example of a rewritten story is Samson. In the original Bible story, Samson never took revenge on Delilah, but in my story, he kills her. That's what I mean about rewriting. And that, I think, is done very well, Ninja. Because the end of the story assumes that Samson dies, but it never goes beyond that. Because the end of the story is him pulling the temple down on the seraphim or whatever it is. After they pluck his eyes out and all that shit, right? So, going beyond what the story actually says, I think is different than rewriting what the original story is. Like, if he had ignored Delilah and killed Delilah before he told her the truth, and been like, no, you're a fucking whore, like, the first time. Like, when he's like, yeah, you know, cut my hair in crescents, and then, or like, whatever the first one he says is. Dinner and a story, my kind of night. Hell yeah, Silent Outcast. So it's like, if you did something like that, where it was like, oh, he betrayed her once, so she killed him. And if you specifically stated that, again, I could see there being a little bit of a line for it, but it's still not much. But I think the way you did it is the most tactful way to rewrite the story, and that's to continue it where it left off with something that was not stated, but since the story ended, no one could say that's not what happened. And I think that's a direction of plausible deniability towards the story, right? Same with, like, starting the story before it happened. Like, if you talked about Samson having another wife before Delilah, and maybe his wife died and that was the true one that he loved, and then that works kind of like expanding on the story and giving more depth to it as to like why he's so willing to accept Delilah's betrayals, it's because he's trying to, like, vicariously live his old love through her. And it's like, that's kind of like maybe another question of why what happens to him is because he's actually by his own nature betraying God. So God, you know, this is like a test that he's failing. And don't worry, I do respect biblical characters enough to not do something like frame Noah as a fraud. Whoever built the ark, his role as the creator of the ark remains vital. Exactly. The prophet that God told and he listened, right? That's the importance of it. But I love that kind of stuff because it... How do you say this? It brings the real world into the world, right? Because, like, if you're looking at specifically, like, Old Testament, second half Old Testament, you know? Like, after the Exodus, like, maybe even, like, post-floods. Actually, yeah, pretty much anything post-flood, because at that point we have some sort of physical evidence that points to the fact that the people described in the Bible are actually, or were actually, real people. And whether the stories that happened were embellished or not, they seem to revolve around people that we can prove actually existed. In some way, shape, or form. Or, like, have an inkling of proof that that person existed. But, anyways. On to Dnaught's story. I rolled over on the... Okay, we already read that. Okay. Plague guy. Mysteriously absent. Probably floating behind me again like a creep in the bathroom stall. Okay, Leo, I muttered, spitting dirt. You made a big entrance. Now might be a good time to not die. Any ideas? My reason for making the decision to include biblical characters is because I feel they fit really well. Into, like, it's like a tone setting, Ninja. You're setting an expectation and a tone by including biblical figures, saying that there will be some reference to Christianity or something that is along the lines of what you would a modern day, because you got to think about it, like, in the modern day, when these things happened in biblical time, they weren't biblical things, they were just things that were happening that later became very important to history. So taking it out of an angle of, oh, this is the modern day of, like, the New Testament, of, like, the new gospel kind of idea. And I could see that being a good direction to go, of being like, you can either go with the religion and saying directly this is a Christianity thing, or you can go with the idea of this is a history that 200 years, 300 years, 400, 600 years from now is going to shape the reality of humanity. These stories. And I think that's a very intense tone to set, and I think if you follow along with that, that's going to be a very strong hook for people. And again, you're getting a very specific type of audience as well by doing that, you know? Which is good because you want to cut out the people that, you know, won't necessarily be as interested in it. And you want to aim hyper specifically for those people that want that kind of experience, right? It's like taking folklore and bringing it into modern day, but you're taking concepts of how religion builds history and putting it into modern day. The events that will be told for 1,000 years from now. Wind whipped around me like it was ready to either carry me or bury me. Took a shaky breath, channeling it up through my fingertips. My hands itched like static was building just under the skin. I had to move, fast, before creepy McBirdface got a second date with my spleen. Then I heard it. Harvey's voice. Leo! Oh, thank God. Maybe he'd brought backup. Maybe he'd turned into a bear or something. Maybe he... Nope. Still Harvey. He was just carrying the girl I pointed out earlier and trying very, very hard not to die. Harvey, I shouted, behind the hamburger stand. Go, go, go! He darted off like a terrified red blur, and I turned just in time to see Red Lobster revving up another murder ball. Hey, fireball! I yelled, arms outstretched. Catch these hands! Or better yet, this wind! I slammed both my palms forward, and a wall of air burst from me like a sonic boom. His attack flew wild, demolishing stop sign 2 blocks over. Oops. Hope nobody needed traffic loss today, I thought with a grin. That got his attention. He cracked his knuckles, and his grin faltered. Not much, but enough to know I'd surprised him. Good, let's keep that going. Then, I heard it again. Shink. That horrible, terrible sound like a knife sliding out of a sheath, coated in nope juice. I spun this time. I spun just in time for a glint of silver and beady goggles to materialize behind me. Plague Guy was right there, arm already cocked back to stab me with whatever disease-sick stick he'd brought to the party. Too slow, he hissed, but I was faster. I weaved to the left and summoned a tight spiral of wind straight up between us. I slammed it into his stomach, lifting him off the ground. His coat flared like a gothic parachute as he hit the side of a trash can, hard. Ha! I said, half gasping, half laughing. Welcome to the wind zone! I kept my hands around my mouth. I refuse the ads. Learnfish, yo, what's up? We're in the middle of ads, you know. Just doing my little fuck ads. Yeah, I'm good, bro. How you doing, Learnfish? Victory screech, blah, 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 blah. You got to do what you got to do, brother. Don't ask questions, just fall in line, right? Casual reaction to ads. Yep. Fuck them. Especially when they're not targeted ads. Where are my... What the fuck stream is this? It's my stream, buddy guy. It's a good stream. It's a great stream. It's a reading and writing, creativity, imagination, and storytelling. Of all kinds and shapes and sizes. So expect the unexpected, and you'll find you'll quite fit into such a grand adventure as this. And sometimes you might even what you usually read. Well, currently we are reading Viewer Works, which would be Dnaught's work, which is a modern / futuristic, like, think of like My Hero Academia. That's pretty much what it's basically like. I'm thinking My Hero Academia. It's set in the future. People have abilities. It's a good time. They go to schools. I'm thinking heavily My Hero Academia vibes. Amazing. It's like a bedtime story without going to bed. Who wrote that? Who wrote which one? This story currently that's on screen is Dnaught. Or what is BIH? I'm not sure what BIH is. Bech? 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 Book? Book? Back and book and buck and back and book and buck and bick? And then we read short stories. I write short stories. We read, isekai. Well, currently we're doing research on isekai-type stories for a web novel that I'm doing called Stoner Girl Evolution, an isekai satire. As well as, short stories for just, in general, doing short stories. Because that's what I like to do. Because I have so many ideas, I just like to throw through my ideas. But yeah, so are you a writer, Learnfish, or do you just enjoy stories? Because you are in the reading and writing section. So y'all be reading short stories from viewers. Not necessarily short stories, this one's like 64 pages long. This is a full book. I also have like my viewers' books back here. So we got like Callie's Butterflies with Vertigo, and then Sinister's collection of short stories. Stoner Girl, Silent Hill F comes to mind. I've only heard bad things about Silent Hill F. Well, this is a book I'm writing, 50K or something words in. How much it costs to be part of the community? It costs absolutely nothing, Lermfish. There is no, yeah. It's just, I want to facilitate a community that encourages, engaging with other people's creativity, and between brainstorming, think tanking, and, you know, that kind of stuff. It's just, and self-promotion, like, you know, I want everyone, I want a place where people can come together and actually like their work and show their work.
700 septillion.
Thank you so much for the follow, Lermfish.
I hope you are enjoying the stream. Less than 4, less than 3
man.
plus 1.
Hell yeah. That's what it's all about. Because I know a lot of places are like, oh, you know, it's cringe to self-promote. And I'm cringe when it comes to self-promoting, but I love promoting other people. So it's like, if I can facilitate a place where everyone can come together and promote themselves and, you know, get feedback and grow as a writer together. Because I think there are too many people that aren't willing to share their ideas because they feel that their idea might be, or their book might be stolen. And, you know, there is the tiniest chance of that. There's always that with anything, right? But then, you know, you just... It happens. Like, for instance, all of these physical copies of everyone that I found who has a published physical copy book, there are hundreds of eBay accounts that are bought accounts by companies that will drop ship upscale your book twice the price and then sell it to people through there. So they'll buy it from you and then drop ship it through something else. What if I'm weird and dumb, though? Then you'll fit exactly in, Lermfish. You will fit in perfectly. That's exactly what it's all about. I want to write again, like when I had my project in high school. I got weird ideas. Okay, how about this, Lermfish? So the story I'm writing right now, which is The Banquet, is a self-cannibalism succession ritual where basically each piece of the village has to cut off a piece of the chieftain and then cook it and then feed it to the chieftain, and then once the entire chieftain is like cut up and fed to himself, then he dies, and then he stews in the stew, and then each one of the villagers eats a piece of him, and then that takes the Great Spirit, which is the ancestors of the people, and gives that to the people. So it's like spreading the spirit of their chieftain among all of their people, and this is how they maintain their spiritual connection to their ancestors. Is that, like, weird, fucked up enough for you, Lermfish? Story about war against evil underwear. See, I like that. Evil underwear. That's amazing. It's not dark and fucked up, but it's got its own twist to amazingness. Where is this going, Lermfish? I'm very interested. Because we could do some, you know, step 1, gather underwear. Step 2, step 3, profit. So, like, is the underwear, possessed? Sinister! Welcome, welcome, how's it going? Sounds like the movie Attack of the Evil Condom. I love satire like that, though. It works absolutely perfectly if you do it right, because you can do whatever you want. And especially if you're leaning into that, like, satire, like, thriller, mystery, almost horror. It's like, you equip this underwear, and it's like, it turns you, not possessed, they are fully sentient. More like aliens than demons. Sorry, Killer Condom. Oh, that's crazy, Lermfish. More like aliens and demons. Do they come from a different dimension? Do they what's the explanation for how they got into the world? Or do they just exist in the world and it's always been a thing?
Thank you for redeeming chair dance. Hitox will now dance for you.
Thank you,
Please
Sinister.
fully enjoy this immersive experience.
Always appreciated, good sir. But yeah, I really like that, Lermfish. evil underwear. And it even has this, they arrived from, what the fuck? Like, did they all, like, if they're aliens or demons, if they're demons, do they come from another end? Dance faster! Is that you in the bikini? Yes, it was, Fish! Yes, it was. I'm a werewoman. On full moons, I turn into a woman. And we do makeup, bikini, / dress-up streams, cosplay, all that kind of fun stuff. So you're Ranma. Ranma 1/2, yeah. Sure. Yeah, we could definitely go with that. I've never heard anyone make that reference before, but yeah. It's a good time though. I'm just a cross-dresser though. Interesting stream to say the least. Yeah, that's what I'm going for here, you know, guys. That's what it's all about. The personality, the exuberance, the expression, the you know, the sharing, the tangents, as you can tell, because it takes us a while to get between stories because we're always tangenting, but that's kind of the whole point of it, right? So, are you on any substances the government wouldn't like? That dance confuses me. Take a breath, drink water. Well, you could do wellness check. Of course. There is always a wellness check ready to go. Tangents. No! We wouldn't dare do that. Because with like other writer and reader streams, it's like they're either reading work and they're not interrupting, so they're not reading chat, they're not engaging with the audience, they're just doing their thing, which is understandable, right? But we're just here to have a good time, basically. That's the entire premise. Everything else is secondary to having a good time. And so far, not gonna lie, Dnaught, you have thrown me over the moon with the amount of viable, great puns that make this character feel fucking alive, and especially like the way that it's narrated. The voice on this is so strong, it's fucking crazy, and I love it. And I'm really hoping that sticks through the entire story, because you are setting up a promise about this character. He's my pride and joy. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I believe it. That's insane. So like, even if it kind of falls off at times, as long as it maintains through the story, because you're making this huge promise about this character being extremely sarcastic, which I absolutely love. And it's like you can even have the complete, and if you want to get rid of that, there is the complete, you know, direction to character arc, where it's like so much shit has happened, he's grown up so much that it's like he's almost lost that quirkiness to him. He's lost the child within him because his life is so fucked up. And that will even, that's an even better way to show his character arc, because now it's like you notice all these things that he's lost through going through these trials, and that's what makes such a great character. So I just wanted to give you feedback on that. To answer your earlier question, I am not good at all writer. Because of that, enjoy stories, so both. I'm not a good writer either, Lerm. I'm like a 4 to 6 writer. Like, I just like writing, and I'm an idea person, so the actual writing, what's on the page, sentence structure, that doesn't matter to me. It's the ideas. Ideas, presentation, and direction that is important to me. There are more serious moments where the sarcastic narration dies down in drastic situations, but his mouth, i.e. dialogue, will still mouth off at people and make very bad jokes in those situations. Oh, that's great, because that's a huge part of his personality. He can't help it, right? He's just like, fuck! And that kind of reminds me of me, because like I'm a smart ass motherfucker. I have such a hard time keeping my fucking mouth closed, and it's got me into so much shit. But you just gotta fucking say it. No, I am a bad writer. You are quirky. There is a difference. Well, I just mean like if you actually look at what I write down on the page, right? Like my actual skill. If you like were to scale my skill on like a technical level, it would be between like if we're talking like George R.R. Martin, Tolkien is like a 10, I'm like a 4 to a 6. I mean, that's not a 1, right? I mean, a 4 to a 6 is good, right? Like, not every game has to be a Wukong. Not every game has to be a fucking Expedition 33. Not every game has to be a Final Fantasy 16, you know? Like, recently, he's pinned down with a knife to his throat and is just like, really? Couldn't take me out to dinner before getting this intimate. While also terrified and shitting his pants. Yeah, and that just shows, like, that's so much ingrained into his personality. That is his coping mechanism. The way that he copes with things is tries to make them not feel real through using humor like that. Which really, really, really gets off. Unironically a 1. That's okay, Lermfish. Everyone starts somewhere, right? Just keep improving. I would love to read your work, though, if you want to join the Discord. And we have the public stories and the self-promotion if you want to promote anything. We got Hazel does like animations and stuff like that, and like you know, whatever that kind of graphics design, art and stuff like that is. So we also have another channel called AdWolf that I have a panel down there for as well, for like promotion, advertisement, and stuff like that. But yeah, if you want me to read it, feel free to plop it in there, and yeah, add it to the list. His fist came down. I twisted. It hit the pavement beside my head, cracking concrete like it owed him money. "You're a gnat," he growled. "A joke." "Joke's on you," I wheezed, kicking him off with a blast of wind from both feet. "My mom says worse to me every day." I stumbled back to my feet, one eye swelling, my one arm shaking, and not a single idea left in the tank. But damn it, I couldn't let them hurt anyone anymore. "You want to fight?" I said, summoning one last burst of wind, spiraling around me in a mini tornado. "Then let's dance, gargoyle and bird flu." And that's when the sky cracked open, literally. A beam of blue light slammed into the pavement not far from us, and the whole battlefield paused. I'd seen that light multiple times in news reports and video games. It was Vanguard. Not only was he the #1 pro hero in the States, he was also the leader of the Paragons, the United Nations of hero teams. Polished white armor, trimmed in gold and navy, cape billowing dramatically, even though there was literally no wind, except mine. "Thank you very much." The glowing V on his chest pulsed like a heartbeat, and his eyes gleamed with enough judgment to make my stomach drop through the floor. Dude didn't walk, he descended, like a glowing middle finger from God. Pfft. Big Red grunted, "Shh, hero." Whipped an energy sphere at him because of course he did. Bad move. In the span of a blink, Vanguard was across the street. No warm-up. No warning. Just a boom and a motion blur. His fist met the villain's gut, and the poor bastard folded like a lawn chair in a hurricane. The energy ball vaporized mid-air. Red hit the ground with a sound that made me briefly believe in ghosts. And then... Actually, that's funny that you mentioned that. Have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen this shit? It is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Hideo Kojima wants to scan a ghost into OD, but he already recorded the ghost in his studio, and that's why he went to the shrine together with Microsoft to make sure the game isn't haunted. Jordan Peele: "Oh, you're back early." Kojima: "Game's haunted." Peele: "What?" Kojima loaded a pistol, going back to the studio. "Game's haunted." I was like, oh my god, yes. If you haven't seen the trailer for OD, you have to see it. It looks... I'm not a horror game person. I am fucking playing that game. Oh my fucking god, it looks so good. I'll be back cooking a pepper steak burger. Alright, sounds good. Enjoy, Silent. Believe in ghosts, and then, without even acknowledging me, Vanguard turned, his eyes locked on something behind me. ODST? No, Hideo... Oh, Lerm, if you haven't seen it, I'll show you. Hideo Kojima's new story. New horror game. Delicious. I can have some unironically. Hell yeah. This building was blank from the 3D scan of a blank found in an blank. And then blank were blank in a sinister ritual. Looks so fucking good. Oh my god. So excited. It's gonna be the psychological horror of the fucking decade. It's gonna redefine psychological horrors. Absolutely fucking love it. We are in a whole new age of peak, guys. Like, I watched Weapons the other day. We are back with movies. I've been watching Alien Earth. We are back with TV shows, guys. Like, Expedition 33, we are back with video games. Like, holy shit. All we need now is the winds of winter. And the timeline will be complete. Weapons was awesome. It was so fucking good. Oh my god, I haven't seen a fucking movie that good in a long time. Like, that is Prestige. If you ever seen The Prestige with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, it was like that level of like sophisticated story manipulation from like perspectives of characters. Oh, fucking magnificent. Plague Doc. That shadowy freak stood atop the streetlight, unmoving and watching. Tip of his needle still shimmered with leftover gross. Yield, Vanguard commanded, voice low and thunderous. The Plague Dude cocked his head, Like he was trying to decide whether to fight or disappear into the moonlight like an anime boss final form tease. Guess which one he picked. With a glitch. What's the story about? I'll let Dnaught explain that unless he wants me to say what I think about it from the chapter that I've read. But I'd still say My Hero Academia, 100%. The glitch, like, pop. He vanished, just poof, leaving behind a faint cloud of black mist and the smell of expired medicine. Coward. Turned back, practically vibrating with relief. Harvey, did you see that? He just straight up KO'd the dude like it was nothing. Vanguard's a literal cheat code. You there! The voice came again, except this time it was directed at me. I looked up to see the hero stalking towards us. Glowing eyes narrowed. He didn't look impressed. He looked like someone just farted in an elevator and I was the only one in the room. You don't seem to be licensed, he said. Neither of you. Harvey practically jumped behind me. Wait, sir, it's not what it looks like, okay? We were just on our way to the protest when those villains attacked, and we didn't have a choice. We had to. It does not justify the use of gifts in a public setting. Vanguard snapped, voice sharp enough to shave steel, especially not in a combat zone. You're lucky civilians weren't injured by you. I got a blurb, but more or less a superhero story that asks the question of, are heroes inherently good people? Sure, not that extreme, but yeah. The boys. Oh god, don't let Vanguard be like Homelander! Oh. But we helped, I cut in, still wobbly on my feet, but high on adrenaline. There were people trapped, hurt. And we didn't just stand there. We did something. That has to count for something, right? Ah, no. Vanguard looked me over like I was a bug under a microscope. It counts, he said, voice low again, as vigilantism. Harvey turned pale. Wait, but... No, I said, stepping in front of him. This was me, my idea. I dragged Harvey into it. He just wanted to help someone. I made the call to fight, so if you're going to take someone in, take me. Silence. Vanguard's face didn't change, but the air got heavier. Like even he was weighing it. Eventually, he exhaled. And I'm back! Welcome back, Silent! Fine. Red-haired one, report to Protest Administration Center. Give them this. Tossed a blinking data tag from his belt. They'll validate your arrival. Harvey caught it, but didn't move. Wait, what about Leo? He saved people, too. He broke the law, Vanguard said firmly. Then, to me, turn around. I did, mostly out of spite. Don't worry, I muttered to Harvey. Just think of this as me getting early entry into the hero system, you know? Through the back door, in cuffs. Okay, so, I was not dead, still good. I was not in a straight-up jail cell, which I figured was also good. Instead, I was in a room so gray it could have been sponsored by oatmeal. Seriously, it was like someone told an architect, design sadness. Metal table, one chair, one flickering light overhead that I was pretty sure was meant to slowly drive me insane. Oh, and no clock. Just to really mess with my sense of time. And I'd been here an hour, 20 minutes, no clue. I leaned back in my chair and sighed dramatically. You know, I said to the two-way mirror I was obviously sure was hiding some very bored interns. A vending machine wouldn't kill you guys. Maybe a Sudoku book, some light interrogation jazz. I'm a simple man. No answer. Rude. I just started practicing finger drum solos on the table when voices echoed through the hallway outside, raised, heated. I sat up straight. Someone was arguing. You should have notified me the moment you detained him, one voice barked, gravely. Older, tired, but sharp enough to cut steel. Then the one I recognized, Vanguard. I didn't know he was under your wing. He had no license, and was engaging two hostile threats in the middle of a crisis. He's been in field observation for weeks. First voice snapped. You signed off on it. No, Vanguard growls. You buried the request in your mission logs and hoped I wouldn't read them. That's not the same as authorization. That's paperwork fraud, Pluto. The door slammed open so fast I flinched, and in strode a guy I had never seen before, but who absolutely looked like he walked straight out of a comic book drawn by someone with a grudge against color. Black trench coat, black cargo pants, utility belt packed like a survivalist fever dream, and a black scarf pulled up over the lower half of his face. like a cowl made from an old t-shirt. His gray streaked hair stuck out like a porcupine who skipped sleep, and his eyes, yeah, not the warm and fuzzy kind. Right behind him, Vanguard, glowing, grim, annoyed. That doesn't matter. You can't just detain him without notifying me. Trenchcoat guy snapped, ignoring me completely. He's my sidekick, Van. Wait, what? I detained an unlicensed civilian during using his gift in the middle of a disaster zone. Vanguard replied, folding his arms. I had no reason to believe he had a sponsor. Bull, said Trenchcoat, who, by the way, still hadn't looked at me. He's been tagging along for weeks. Observation, field evaluation. Pluto, Vanguard growled, dropping the name like it weighed 10 tons. I don't care if he was baking muffins during the battle. He's unlicensed. He engaged without clearance. That's vigilantism, and you know it. He saved lives, Pluto shot back. That should matter more than your goddamn clipboard. This isn't the Wild West, Pluto. We have laws for a reason. Laws, Pluto repeated, sneering. Right. If we followed them to the letter, how many kids would be dead right now? How many civilians did you save today? I blinked, shrinking just slightly in my seat. Okay, this was a lot. He acted recklessly, Vanguard said. And don't pretend this wasn't part of your plan. You had some stupid soft spot. True. But yeah, you can definitely tell that, like, you know what you're doing when it, like, you know how to have a conversation, Dnaught. I am taking notes because my dialogue is atrocious. No ad dance? Sometimes the ads win, you know? When I do dialogue, I always act out the scenes myself, just to make sure they sound natural and free-flowing. Ironically helps. Makes sense, yeah. Naughty is right. Yup. That's where it's like the last... the last, last story that we wrote is all about using voice. I'm far too logical in real life, so my speech tends to be robotic, or at times riddled with, ebonics. I'm like just straight too much to the point, or too obscure. You know? It's either how is your hallowed ventures, or so you went to work today? Nice clean breath with no ads, guys. All that smoke filtering away. I didn't have ads though. That's because you're one of the special ones, I guess, Learnfish. I don't know. Some people claim they don't get ads. I guess that's a good thing. Fuck ads. I don't need the 42 cents I make in a 10-hour stream. Okay? If I could turn ads off, I would, but it's the only way to prevent pre-rolls. I get ads out of nowhere. It's all really a matter of flow. You can have characters who are straight and to the point, but each character should feel distinct when they talk. Like, you talk differently from me and from Learnfish. Yeah, exactly, right? And that's my problem, is all my characters talk the same, right? I've even asked my viewers multiple times, like, do you feel that all my characters talk the same? And they're like, yeah.
You're a fraud.
Spider Mayhem!
700 septillion.
Hey, Spider-Man, how's it going? Hi, yo.
Spider-Man 17. I hope you are enjoying the stream less than 4 less than 3 plus 1.
And welcome, Sean. How's it going today, good sir? Did you get another chapter finished, Sean, in Spider Mayhem? How are you? I'm fantastic, good sir. We have had a very, very successful progressive day today. But Spider, are you a writer? Are you a reader? Are you a purveyor of stories? Do you enjoy the creativity and imagination? Are you an explorer of the world of words? Welcome, I'm Intoxication. Here we do beta reading for viewers as well as tips and tricks to improve your writing reacts to certain things. In case right now we are doing the Sanderson lectures, commentary on social aspects that have totally done the extra amount as far as like taking to the level of something else. Yeah, Sean, I don't know. Botrix crashed again. You tell me, brother. Social commentary. Sanderson, you read Rhythmatist. No, I actually haven't read any of Sanderson's work. I haven't really, we've been picking up reading again lately, but I've been out of the loop, let's say, for the last 20 years in other means, in other mediums, exploring other creative outlets aside from aside from like reading and writing. It's only within the last year or so I've gotten back into reading and writing, and specifically reading has been huge for this month, where we've probably read like 400,000 words this month. It's been crazy. But yeah, haven't read any of Sanderson's stuff. We are actually reading book 1 of The Wheel of Time, Eye of the World. We are on chapter 9? Yeah, chapter 9, which we will be reading later, on top of everything else. But indeed. So yeah, and if you write anything, Spider, feel free, or if you want, just feel free to join the Discord. We have the public stories, where you put down your stories if you want me to read. Do you also read H.P. Lovecraftian stories and anything Cthulhu? Yes, we have read. We've read, what was it? I can't remember the name of it. But it's the Cthulhu one. It's the first one, right? Minds of Madness or something like that, right? It's like the first guy to discover it, and then he builds the religion based upon it, and then invites Cthulhu down. Yeah. And then there's the self-promotion if you want to put anything in here to promote anything you're doing, any work that you're doing, any, anything like that. Or Arkham Horror. Yeah. We try to jump from different genres to try and mold everything together because of I'm writing, like, my main book is a Final Fantasy inspired, 200,000, 300,000 word story. Probably 2 books. But that's all like being built in the background. I want to become a better writer before I write it, because I know I can't live up to the expectation and the potential of the story itself. But if you also have any short stories that you want me to read that you guys want to post, you don't have to only post your own work. If you have a really cool short story that you want me to read that you really liked, if you have a book, like for Tyler, when Tyler's here, we're reading Choke by Chuck Palahniuk, the guy who wrote Fight Club, which I wrote a erotica story called Underwear based on Choke. And in Choke, a guy goes around to different restaurants, chokes on food, and basically gets saved, and like uses that as like an apparatus to basically gain his own internal fame. And in my story, It's a nymphomaniac who wears vibrating underwear who goes around to different bars and tries to purposefully break up couples and take the guys home and then fucks the guys over and leaves without them. And she's been banned from, like, every bar in town, basically. And she causes, like, fights and shit. And she, like, punches fucking people, throws drinks at people. And she's just all around just a complete fucking shit disturber, piece of shit. But it's because she loves the excitement of it, and it's the only way she can get off. Because she doesn't actually really like sex. It's a great fucking story. You have some stupid soft spot for vigilantes. Pluto didn't deny it. He just stared Vanguard down like he was daring him to throw the first punch. Sticks and bones may break her bones, but whips and chains excite her. Exactly, Lerm. So yeah, that's kind of my thing too. I'm definitely a masochist. But, you know, to each their own, right? It's the thrill of it. Especially, like, my biggest thing is, like, humiliation. It is a fantastic thing if used properly in the correct context. It is such an exhilarating thing. If you have anything that includes mystery, investigator type stories, I have a story like that. It's a political, like, blackmail story. It's called Shadow of the Hearth. And basically, it's a combination between, murders at the Rue Morgue and I don't even know what the other story would be, like some sort of political horror or something like that. So it's something that doesn't seem to be done by a human. Any irrational or rationalist theories? That's a genre that has grown on me. Tickles the logician in me. Gotta have logic. Not very emotional IRL, as I've said previously. Are you talking like essay format? Because Raymond Doe does essay style format stories. This one's like all formal systems go to heaven. And it's like contemporary science is not written in Sanskrit, Arab, and it's talking about the different uses. No, rational fiction. Not quite sure what you mean by are you mean like mystery, like kind of like Sherlock Holmes, where it's like, or like I said, like Murder in the Rue Morgue, where it's like a character like Dupin that is like extremely analytical and like logics things out to the point he can basically predict the future if he has enough like enough information. Oh hell yeah, Sherlock Holmes stories would be cool. We've already read one of them. One of the short stories is the Speckle Band. It's hard to explain. I'll get into it when you're not reading someone's work. Don't want to snatch the spotlight. That's okay, Learnfish. If you have a short story that is rational fiction and you want to drop it in the Discord or you want to drop it in the chat, I'll read it after this. Take it up with me, he said finally, but you let him go. He's mine. Fine. Vanguard's voice was ice. He's your responsibility, but don't come crying to me when it explodes in your face. With that, he turned on his heel and stalked out, the door slamming behind him hard enough to rattle the floor. Silence. Pluto looked at me. You alright? I looked at him. Really looked at him. Are you legally allowed to just, like, claim people? Is that a hero thing or more of a pirate thing? Corner of his eye crinkled, possibly a smile, but it was hard to tell with all the brooding. Under all the brooding. Come on, let's get out of here. I followed, mostly because I didn't want to be left alone in an oatmeal jail again, but also because I was very much lacking in other options. It had proper indentation. Chef's kiss. The hallway outside was better lit, but just as quiet. Nobody stopped us. Apparently, trench coat confidence was an all-access pass. Knows how to format. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so far I'd say this is definitely like probably one of the top 4 stories that we've read from someone. Like, Rick, Joku, Nico, and this one are pretty damn good when it comes to just like overall, you know, this is something you could study to improve your own writing, right? As normally there's like, you read the professional to see where you could be, you read the amateur to see where you are. That's usually how I take it, right? And then you can see that gap, and that gap allows you to say, okay, what am I missing that will get me there? We made it halfway down the corridor before I finally asked, so when did I become a sidekick? Besides, I feel like I missed a memo, possibly a hazing ritual. Pluto didn't slow his pace. As I see it, you're a great hero who was dealt a bad hand. You jumped into action today. Helping out, I corrected, that's all. And yet, he said, glancing sideways, when it came down to it, you didn't hesitate. I frowned. It's not the same as wanting to be a hero. Pluto stopped. Just stopped walking altogether. Nearly walked right into him. He turned to me, looked me dead in the eyes. You say you don't want this, he said. Fine. I've heard that before. Hell, I've said that before. But let me ask you one thing, Leo. I didn't say anything. He leaned in slightly, his voice lower, now firmer. When the chaos broke out, when people were screaming, when it looked like no one else was going to help, did you think about it? Or did your body move on its own? I stared at him. Heroes aren't made by titles. They're born the second they can't stop themselves from jumping in. Doesn't matter if you want it. Doesn't matter if you're scared. Your instinct said go. That tells me everything. My throat was dry. My ribs still ached. And I hated that he was right. Pluto straightened. I won't force you. Don't want the job? Walk. But if you stay, I'll train you. The real way. No branding. Just you. Your instincts. And a hell of a lot of work. I swallowed. Can I think about it? The front door hadn't even clicked shut behind me before I heard it. You're late. Mom's voice, sharp and fast, rang out from the kitchen. Awesome. A welcome home hug would have been too much to ask, apparently. Took one step in before she turned the corner, arms crossed over her chest, apron still dusted in flour. Her eyes locked into my empty hands. No folder, no badge, no shiny license. You're kidding me, she snapped. Again? I flinched. Hi, Mom. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How's the risotto? How's the risotto, Leo? Her tone had enough edge to cut concrete. Said this time would be different, that you were taking it seriously. I was. I did. I threw my hands up. I didn't fail, okay? I didn't even make it there. You didn't make it, she echoed. Like I just told her the sun forgot to rise. That's the best you've got? He's telling the truth, Steph's voice cut in from the hallway. She strolled in, ponytail bouncing, wearing that look she always saved when things were just about to explode. News is already online. Villain attacked downtown during the test shuttle. Mom blinked. What? I nodded. It was chaos. Civilians everywhere. People hurt, so I helped. You what? Mom's expression twisted like I was just confessed to stealing a car to get there. You fought? I mean, I helped. There's no one else. The heroes were late, and oh my god, Leo! She turned away, rubbing her temple. Do you realize what you've done? Yeah, I said. I stopped people from dying. You're welcome. You broke the law! Oh, now it's a problem, I said. But if I'd walked in here with a license, I'd be a golden child, right? You're not a golden child, Mom snapped. You're a mess, Leo. You've been gifted something most people would kill for, and you treat it like a toy. You failed the exam last year on purpose. I wasn't ready, I shouted. I wasn't ready, and I knew it. Better than pretending like I'm something I'm not. So what are you, Leo? Some loser dropout with a hero complex? I opened my mouth and shut it again. 'Cause yeah, fair. Dad finally stood from the kitchen table, slow and silent, the way he always did when he was working up to something. Didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. You were meant for more than excuses. Ouch, right in the jugular. I didn't make excuses, I said quietly. I made a choice. Today wasn't about me. For once, Mom muttered. That one hit deeper than I expected. I staggered back a half step, blinking it off like sweat. Steph cleared her throat and gently nudged me towards my chair. Okay, let's argue with dinner, not instead of it. Grumbling continued, but we sat back till the next load is ready. Doing laundry, Sean? See, you know what my problem is? I'm not a social person, but I do have an amazing connection with my family. And it's like all of my banter that I have is from my family. So this feels like the exact opposite of a conversation I would have with my family, which makes it feel so real. Not social. Cap. Like, I live in a very small town that's very, like, off the grid kind of thing. And so far since I moved here, like 3 years ago, I really haven't found anyone that I can, like, hold a conversation with. Because I mean, I don't want to say it, but it doesn't seem like anyone's, you know, intelligent enough, right? You're social with a smart... Exactly, Dnaught. Like, I need somebody who doesn't just talk about, oh, I play COD all the time. You know, I go fishing. Like, you know... It's people seem to be very basic, and I'm like, I hate games. Callie, welcome, welcome. How's it going, good sir? How are you today, Callie? Have you written any more, Callie? It's just fishing and hunting. Fish D's nuts! Anime forever, true. Like, fishing and hunting is a huge thing here. I wrote yesterday. Nice, Callie. Nice. Anime, fitness, languages, written. You did all 4 of them, Callie? Damn, bro, you're on fire. Oh, hunting and sports. Oh, sports is a big one too, but they're all like, I'm 34, right? A lot of the people here that are like my age are parents. I'm fucking single. So, 2 things I care nothing about. It's like, I can, yeah, I mean, I could be interested in it because I could learn it for the purposes of world building, but it's like when I, you know, when I talk about something, no one's ever interested in what I say, so I never feel that anyone reciprocates, right? Like, oh, I can, but it's not like I'm feigning interest in their thing. Their thing is just something that's, like, easy to grasp and understand, so I can get on it. And then I start talking about, like, quantum mechanics, consciousness is a fundamental, creativity in general, the idea that our bodies are just vessels for consciousness, things start to get a little bit out of hand, right? And it's like, oh, it's just all the idea of world building and storytelling, right? The fact of it being true has nothing to do with it. It's not a belief in if it's true, it's how well can you tell a story that makes someone think that that is the way that reality is. And that's the way that I like to tell stories. That after the story's over, you feel that falls into a space in reality. You're like, that fits in some way. Like with Star Wars, like a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. How are we supposed to know that it didn't actually happen, right? And that's what I like to put in the reader's mind. That sick pass at the Super Bowl. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I'm Canadian, so hockey is a huge thing. We're talking about hockey, and I have known fucking nothing about hockey. So yeah, it's really hard to hold a conversation with people and get to be, like, friend people because they don't reciprocate being interested in what I'm in because they don't have a high enough cognitive level. You're Canadian? You sure? Yeah. I'm from Vancouver, originally, So, like, you know, it's a lot of U.S. influence, right? If you're from Vancouver, you're basically from the U.S. compared to, like, the rest of Canada. Like, I'm in Alberta now, which is significantly different than being, like, in far western BC. People lose teeth. Then why do you talk to me, huh? I just fuck around. People lose teeth. Fucking read my messages. I love you, Callie. Whatever it takes, I know I can make it through. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? It is what it is. Power on, carry on, power up, pull up your pants, you're a fucking man. Get the shit done that you gotta do. Get on with your fucking life. Degrassi, that's all I know about Canada. Never watched Degrassi. I didn't even know that was Canadian. Why do you talk to me? Tell me now. Callie, because you're adorable. I've fallen in love with you. And I want you to have my babies. I mean, I want to have your babies. I mean, if we could have babies. I mean, your writing is fantastic. Your creativity is off the wall. Fuck you, Callie. I love you. Tim Hortons, Nova Scotia. Degrassi is okay, all things considered. Better than Glee. See, now you guys are just going off on shit. I'm just like, I have absolutely no idea. Not, you know, that's, no. Not my real, thing. TV was never my real thing. Like, I watched more mature things. Like, I was very much into heavy sci-fi, heavy history and stuff like that. Dnaught is fairly based, I dare say. I have a shit ton of interest. I just have, like, a completely different spectrum, right? Like, for instance, like, not Glee, but again, I blank on words, because, like, they leave my mouth, or they leave my mind when they're about to come through my mouth. It's like being on deck, and then the word runs away. Footloose. Footloose. I love spontaneous Broadway breakout in a TV show or a movie, to the point that I'm incorporating that into my book in, like, plays, dances, songs, and poems are extremely important to the culture around my book. And that's basically how, like, religion and history is expressed through entertainment purposes. So there's going to be a lot of that kind of, like, spontaneous singing and shit like that, and dancing. Plus, that's kind of how magic works, too, is, like, it's a song and dance of imagination and understanding. I have to say, my biggest interest is superhero Spider-Man, mainly. For example, I'm working with 100%ing the Insomniac Spider-Man games right now, and the last one now. Spider-Man is among my favorites. Oh yeah, I'm trying to learn French and German, but I think I need a schedule. Callie, it works much better with a schedule, but I mean, do Duolingo, or are you not into that? Goes to make one now. Bye. Bye, Callie! Sounds good. Hate Duolingo. All I know is Levi said Duolingo is trash. Yeah, the only person I know who uses it was Levi. I've never used it. That damn bird. Mashed potatoes, roasted vegetables, roasted me, apparently. The only sound for a while was chewing and the soft hum of passive-aggressive silence, till I said, through a mouthful of carrots, I met a guy. Mom didn't look up. Please don't say romantically. I don't need something else to be disappointed in you for. Harsh, but I fucking love it. I love it. It's like, I'm not gonna disown you, but for fucking real, this is not what I was expecting. Don DeMarco. Not like that. He was a hero. Pluto. Click. Dad's tongue. That sharp little sound like he was firing a gun in his mouth. Mom actually stopped eating, fork halfway to her lips. Come again? Pluto, I said. Black trench coat, scarf mask, kinda old. Can't find anything that helps me speak, so I'm just talking to AI now, and I hate it. Wait, why do you hate talking to AI, Callie? I thought talking to AI was having fun. She can be your girlfriend. You speak French, she speaks German. You guys learn each other's language. It's like the ultimate romance story. You have, like, German on ChatGPT and, like, French on, like, Grok or, like, Gemini or something. Or, Callie, what you could do is you could go to the French writing streams or the German writing streams, and you could find someone there who understands English, and you could get a tutor. The speech recognition is bad. Ah, I see. Because that would be, like, that would be my ultimate thought, is either go on Reddit or go into the writing section and find French, and I tried, everyone's too busy. But I mean, not the streamer, Callie, the viewers. Find a viewer that speaks, like, a good amount of English and see if they would be willing to do, like, you could teach them English and they could teach you French. So find, like, a mutual ground with someone who wants to learn English. That's what I would do. Because then you're both benefiting from it, right? They're learning English, you're learning French, you know a little bit of French, they know a little bit of English. But that's just my advice. It's ads. That's what ads are ads. Neutron film. Is that a Deku pillow behind you? That is indeed a Deku pillow. My little guy hiding in the background. Imagine having ads. I know, right, Dnaught? You could always go over to Kick. You don't get ads on Kick. Smokey's a smart one, and Queen's a smart one when she goes over there, too. It's the nice thing about being on multiple platforms. You can get away from that shit. And I don't need the 3 cents that you'll give me in the 10 hours that I stream. You know? If I could get rid of ads, I'd get rid of ads. Because it's like... yeah, it's like 9 cents an hour, 8 cents an hour. I would rather not have ads over that. At least not with the size of my channel. Suckiest part about small streamers becoming affiliate, it's more so a negative than a positive. Yeah, I wish, like, becoming affiliate allowed you to get ads, but it didn't enable pre-rolls. Like, if you were affiliate, you didn't get pre-rolls. So you could either have ads or not have ads. It would be up to you. And then when you become partner, that's when they force you to have pre-rolls, because now you're, like, pulling more bandwidth, right? I think if Twitch was a good system, that's what they would do. Because, I mean, there are some people that have 4 viewers who spam ads. And it's like, you should not necessarily take away their ability to do that, just get rid of pre-rolls. Or your ability to just turn pre-rolls off. Because the whole point of, like, having the ads for those channels is to cover bandwidth costs. But if you have, like, 5 viewers, you're not a bandwidth cost. High five. High five! High five! Wait, you know Fish, Callie? Callie, you know everybody. You're a super social person, Callie. But it isn't one. My biceps are screaming. Sorry, it isn't one what? Fish? Once words leave my mouth, I forget them. I've moved on to like 3 new topics. Still think that part of the story needs a Don DeMarco. Not sure what you mean by that, Fish. Is that a character? Like a character archetype? There was this one time at the gymnasium in middle school where everyone gathers, I would just shake everyone's hand. Well, Callie, you're a very polite and nice person. I'm too scared to do that. I wouldn't call it, like, anxiety, but it's like... I'd just rather not. There's just isn't a calling for me to do that. According to Reddit, DeMarco is a Turkish word for goddamn. Twitch were a good site. Oh! And then you said, but it isn't one. Exactly. But it isn't one, yeah. Sadly. That's why I'm like, you know what would be cool, guys? So this was my idea. If I could do a startup, you know what my startup would be? It would be a new streaming service, and the entire premise of the promotion around the streaming service would be to have different audio channels. So you could have audio channels where you could play, like for instance, your soundboard. Then you could have audio channels for your mic, audio channels for your, like, desktop, audio channels for your music. And then depending upon the viewer, they could turn, like, the bullshit on the stream off. They could turn the music off, listen to their own music. And, like, it just would give more of a range for the viewer to mold the stream to what they wanted, right? Because some, like, person like me, I want chair dances going off, I want freeze frames going off, I want all the bullshit that interrupts the stream that interacts with the viewer. I'm referring to battle rap. You aren't black, so it's not something you're familiar with. When in battle rap, whoever makes a killer line gets a sound effect played. It's an air horn and a Don DeMarco vocal. Yeah. Oh, yup. Look at that. That Reddit post was from our rap battles. Good old Reddit. But yeah. What do you guys think about that idea? As, like, the sole premise of being successful on is the fact that the site has multiple audio channels to play through it. And it would, like, connect to OBS, so you could have, like, for instance, I have the desktop audio and then I have the mic audio. And then I could set up, like, a separate one that's, like, a browser. So it's like, if it's coming from YouTube on this browser, then it's this channel. And you could have, like, one for Chrome, one for Firefox, right? I don't know exactly how it would work, but I think having the options for different sound layers to be able to separately turn them off as the viewer to kind of customize your experience with the streamer is in high demand. So, but that's just me, and I have terrible taste. But then again, there's the people that have terrible taste that are really influential because they're so far ahead of the curve that by the time they get their idea out is just the time when it becomes a fad. Because you don't want to start producing once it's a fad. You want to be done producing and then it to become a fad. And then you to enter it as a fad, right? You don't want to be chasing the fads, you want to be making the fads. Oh, 7! He offered you a job? Steph asked, eyebrows high. I nodded. He said I've got instincts, that I'm a natural-born hero. Steph gave a low whistle. Damn, that's almost inspiring. He's a criminal. Dad's voice landed like a stone in the mashed potatoes. Or was. Only reason he's not in prison is because the Paragons don't like what it says about their approval process. He saves people. People have died because of his heroics, Dad said flatly. Ask anyone who worked during the Newbridge incident. They'll tell you exactly what happened. Better than doing nothing while people die, I shot back. Sound familiar? His eyes flared. Steph made a quiet oh no face and went back to her plate. I didn't say yes, I added, but I'm thinking about it. Mom finally spoke again. Leo, you've always run from structure, from expectations. I don't know if this is you trying to finally grow up or just rebel in a new direction. Maybe both, I muttered. Dad pushed his plate away. If you take that job, you don't live under my roof. I've heard that before. And I meant it before. Silence again, but heavier, denser. Steph reached out and stole one of my rolls without asking, like she was keeping up the peace by creating minor chaos. So, she said with a mouthful, Pluto, huh? Crazy good. Crazy fucking good. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna show you guys how crazy good this is. We're gonna go over to Choke. And I'm just gonna read a little bit of Choke. And listen for, like, the similarities in the strength of voice. Because of the heat, Denny stripped off his coat, then his sweater, without undoing the buttons. Even the cuffs or the collar one. He pulls his shirt off over his head, inside out. So now his head and hands are bagged in red plaid flannel. The t-shirt underneath works up around his armpits while he's fighting the shirt off his head, and his bare stomach looks rashy and caved in. Some long twisted hairs sprout around his little dot nipples. His nipples look cracked and sore. Dude, Denny says, sitting struggling inside his shirt. Too many layers. Why has it got to be so hot in here? Because it's kind of a hospital. It's a constant care residence. Over his jeans and belt, you can see the dead elastic waistband of his bad underpants. Orange rust stains show on the loose elastic. In front, a few coiled hairs poke out. There's yellowy sweat stains on, for real. His Under Armour skin. The front desk girl is sitting right there, watching with her face all bunched up tight around her nose. I try and tug at his t-shirt back down, and there's for sure many colors of lint in his navel. At work in the locker room, I've seen Denny pull his pants off inside out with the underpants still on them the way I did when I was little. And still, with his head wrapped up in his t-shirt, Denny goes, Dude, can you help me? There's a button somewheres I don't know about. Front desk girl is giving me her look now. She's just got the telephone receiver halfway to her ear, with most of his clothes on the floor next to him. Denny gets skinnier until he's down to just his sour t-shirt and his jeans with dirt on his knees. Dialogue is cold. Why is it so cold? I love some dialogue. This is a cold story, huh? It feels like these characters are related. They're best friends, but they're like best friends almost of circumstance, where it really feels like the main character is just taking advantage of the fact that Denny's a retard. So he's almost like using him as an alter ego. But, like, just the strength of the character voice is so potent that it's like, it's literally comparable to professional writing, just with the voice alone. And I wish that chapter had a little bit more dialogue, because, like, the dialogue in this is, like, done so well between the characters, because of the way it's, like, the characters talking past each other, where it's, like, having their own kind of conversations, but they're still relevant to each other. But yeah, it definitely gives that vibe to it.